How would you describe the progress of the government so far?
Well, apart from the settings,
Settings.
if you take your time to assess them very well, you realize that it's a failed government, and I'll tell you why. Abochi, who has the dollar, will have to give you to you for about 13.5. But when it was about 14 or 15 at the Bank of Ghana, they lambasted the Akufo-Addo government, they lambasted Bawumia. Within 8 months, you have not been able to stabilize the dollar. All that you did was for you to pump enough money into it, brought it down. A lot of people lost their money.
So your definition of certain is the government is pretending to be like they are not doing.
Yes, because you've seen that the dollar went to about 10, but just about 2 weeks ago, you've seen how it is also coming up. If indeed you did something right, why is it happening so? Government is only telling us that 24-hour economy, 3 jobs are going to be, if like 1 job is going to be given to 3 people. It is reality over settings. They've mentioned it, that they are going to give 3 people 1 job. Okay, today, there are no plans to even realize that. You can give them 20 years, they cannot do it. I am not a doomsayer.
So you don't believe in the 24-hour economy?
Do you believe in it?
Yes, I mean. And if we love one, he's a Ghanaian politician, a lecturer, writer, and a communication professional. He's a member of parliament for Old Tafo constituency in the Ashanti region, elected on the tickets of the New Patriotic Party. He's served as the former head of public relations at the Ministry of Education, and of course worked with the former second lady, as well as Samira Bawumia. My name is Gideon Nicholas Day, and our guest on Pulse 101 is Honorable Vincent Ekow Assafuah. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you so much for joining us. First off, how has it been? Should I say, in the position for the last 8 months?
Well, so this is the second term of my representation as a member of parliament for the good people of Old Tafo constituency. And it's no more honeymoon for me, unlike the others, especially those who just had the opportunity to come to parliament. And so I'm just building on wherever I left off on the 6th of January 2025. So it's been an interesting parliament, especially when you see the kind of majority that we have today who just do not care about the say of the minority. I do not think that that should be the way our democracy should be. The intent of the framers of the constitution at the time that they were birthing this constitution was supposed to be hinged on a democracy, kamadrin. And so it is proper that because of how our constitution was made up of and how the architecture of our democracy is supposed to be, it is in the interest of the Ghanaian people to also listen to the side of the minority. Fortunately, that is not what we are seeing as far as this 9th parliament is concerned, unlike what happened in the 8th parliament when we allowed them to be able to say whatever they wanted to say.
But it looks like public is also having maybe a different view of it. Maybe today we are seeing the minority working out today. And then, like you're saying, it looks like the majority does not really care. It's like it's not being taken into consideration.
You should check the Westminster Parliament. Work out as part of parliamentary strategies. I am saying that there have been instances where even me, myself, I have not been allowed to go about the kind of things I want to say in Parliament, especially some questions that will have to be given to the ministers. Because you see, the standing orders of Parliament is very clear as to how questions are supposed to be given. And in the standing orders, when a question is given, the one who is asking the question can go about it and even ask 3 other follow-up questions. They had to use a business committee to amend that provision of the standing orders to curtail the say of minority. I.e., when I ask a question, I am now entitled to about 2 or just a question, because they are now saying that the follow-up questions will have to be done within 3 minutes. Think about this. How can you ask 3 follow-up questions and answers also given within 3 minutes? So they've used the business committee to amend a statutory provision. That means if you bring a minister to the floor of Parliament, like I did with the Minister for Health, like I did with the Minister of Defense until his untimely death, you ask the question and you cannot have further follow-up questions.
But don't you think it's because sometimes the business of Parliament drags? There's a lot of time wasting on a lot of matters.
I do not think so. In instances where Parliament thinks that the time frame to which we are supposed to sit will have to be extended, we do so by a motion.
How would you describe the progress of the government so far?
Well, apart from the settings,
Citizens.
if you take your time to assess them very well, you realize that it's a failed government, and I'll tell you why.
Just in 8 months?
I'll tell you why. They promised the people of Ghana that they are going to make sure that they deal with Galamsey. Just last week, the Minister for Interior, the Minister of Defense have to recall all the task force that they deployed to the Galamsey areas. The president of the small-scale miners made a video onto the platforms of the various miners and told them that all the task force members have been recalled back to Accra so they can go about whatever they are doing. What that means is that within that period, from last week till today, without the task force, people are going about Galamsey. Go and check the Ankubra. You can find Sanfan, you can find machines in the middle of Ankubra today as we speak, and people are mining. The river is not flowing. So you cannot tell me that there's a government who told us when they were in opposition that within a day or two, if a president is committed in dealing with Galamsey, we'll be able to stop it. These were the kind of promises that they gave to us, that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was not committed in dealing with Galamsey. It was on that basis that we voted for them. 8 months, 9 months, even the simple law that they were supposed to revoke, they were not able to revoke. They had to amend it.
So you're using the basis of Galamsey to analyze their whole 8 months?
I am not. I've just given one example.
Okay.
The second example, I was the head of the PR at the Ministry of Education.
Yes.
At the time when we were implementing the double track, what did they say? They said that we have introduced the double track to destroy our education system. When you come to Old Tafo, where I schooled, a school called Methodist MA at Tafo, which I went. We went by way of Anopani area. Some will go in the morning, that is from 7 o'clock till 12 o'clock, and the other will also continue from 12:30 to 5:30. Today, I sit here as a member of parliament. What was the basis? The basis was that the classroom at the time could not cater for the many students that were in Old Tafo at the time. So the proper way was for everybody to go to school. So by way of an initiative, we brought about that Anopani area so that a lot of students will be educated. When they told us that it was a very bad system, now they got to government, the Director of Education, the Director General, is now telling us that they cannot eliminate double track today. Haven't they lied to you? Are you not concerned as a media person that they told us that the double track was not a good thing, but they are now telling us that they cannot eliminate it? Because they didn't understand the double track. We told them that the double track is a nice strategy to allow everybody to be able to get access to go to school. It is an initiative, a modern contemporary way of allowing every child to be able to have access. When we said this, they said we've turned our education into a red gold green, something that they've not seen before, campaigned on this, attacked the government, made us look bad, made us look as if we did not think about the education system of this country, only for them to come to power.
But
We'll be using the same vehicle.
not early days yet to be judging on exactly on our education.
You know why I don't agree with the early days yet? They said that any government that is committed in dealing with Galamsey, if you have a president who is committed in dealing with Galamsey, can do so within a week. Go and check. Sam George said it. Mutala said it. Okudoto said it. A number of them said it, that within a week, you can deal with Galamsey. It is about a political will. These were their words. Today, they've been in government for 9 months, and you think that 9 months is not enough for them to be able to deal with Galamsey.
What's the best strategy do you think is to deal with Galamsey in Ghana?
The best strategy for us to be able to deal with Galamsey is for us to be able to start from the people down there. When we said that we needed a cohesive kind of effort, an effort that will involve everybody, all the stakeholders, they said that the buck will have to stop with the president. They did not believe in that. The strategy is for you to be able to bring every Ghanaian together, to be able to bring every Ghanaian on board, to understand that the Ankubra River, that you are in the middle of it with the Sanfan, blocking the flow of the river. Today you get the money, but tomorrow you have to use the money to be able to, as it were, take care of yourself and society. Today our cocoa farms are being given out to Galamseyers because they have the cash and carry. They promise the people of Ghana that when they have the opportunity, a cocoa bag that we were selling to the cocoa farmers, that was 3,000. We have shortchanged them, and for that matter, when they come, they will sell it not less than 6,000 Ghana cedis. The current finance minister stood on the floor of parliament at the time, made this promise. The current agri minister stood on the floor of parliament, made this promise. The president of the republic himself made that promise, that we have shortchanged the people of Ghana as far as cocoa farmers are concerned. Why are we paying them only 3,000 Ghana cedis per bag? Today, they have the opportunity, after their own promise, that they were going to pay cocoa farmers not less than 6,000, they are paying them 3,100 Ghana cedis. Do you think that this is a successful government? Forget about the settings. Do you think that if you go down deep and assess their own manifesto, are they succeeding or they are failing the people of Ghana?
I think the best people to judge will be.
You are an elite. So you are an elite. No, I've given you the fact. You are an elite. You cannot say that the best people are the people of Ghana. You are a Ghanaian. You, the media, were the people who spoke against this government in the past 4 years. You have an opportunity to be confronted with the fact. Has Galamsey been dealt with? You are a Ghanaian. Has double track been eliminated, as they promised? You are a Ghanaian. Why do you have to leave it for the politician? For the politician to be the one to say it? If you don't say it, what that means is that we are allowing our state and our country to degenerate to a point whereby we may not be able to pick them up again.
Right. We talk about settings. I mean, when you say settings, what do you mean from the government?
You can't see what is happening here. You don't see. Are you in Ghana?
Yes, I am.
Are you a Ghanaian?
Yes.
Nick, are you a Ghanaian?
Yes.
Oh, so you don't see the settings that is going on.
No, maybe my settings are different from your settings, so you may want to.
So what settings have you seen? Let's have a conversation.
So it depends on the definition of settings.
So tell me, what have you seen? Let's have a conversation. I want us to have a conversation because you see, when we allow things to be said by politicians alone, it makes it look as if you are just doing politics. And I don't want that conversation. You're a young person, I'm a young person. I'm in my 30s, and I'm sure you're in your 20s or you're in your 30s. So let's have a conversation. What are the things that you've seen this government doing that you know that deep within, they are not solving the problems of this country, but they are pretending and appearing to be solving the problems of this country? Should I tell you one? Look at the dollarization. We told them that you cannot solve the dollar to CD issue with the way that you are going about it. You just don't go in and pump in money, because in the long run, you'll be exposed. They told us they were going to do 10 or even less than 10. Today, go to the commercial banks. You get dollar for not less than 12 Ghana cedis. Abochi, who has the dollar, will have to give you to you for about 13.5. But when it was about 14 or 15 at the Bank of Ghana, they lambasted the Akufo-Addo government, they lambasted Bawumia, that he's incompetent and all that. Within 8 months, you have not been able to stabilize the dollar. All that you did was for you to pump enough money into it, brought it down. A lot of people lost their money. People who are in abroad are not even sending money back to the country again. I'm not the one saying it. The Bank of Ghana governor has said it, that because of how the dollar has been reduced or has been lowered, people are not even bringing money to the system. You don't govern a state like that. You have to govern a state holistically, so that other sectors of the economy will bring about the strength and the consolidation of your dollar. You just don't go and put in a lot of money, about $4.4 billion, and pump into the dollarization, and you think that that is enough. Within a short time, you have the results, but in the long run, you'll be exposed. And that is what we are seeing today. Trust me, by the end of December, you find dollar more than 15. We are in this country. I am not a doomsayer, but I'm just saying that I have followed governance for some time.
Right.
And what I see is not good for us because of politics, because you want to appear to people that you are working, when indeed you are not working. When COVID and those external shocks came, it was not by virtue of an incompetence of a certain government. People thought through and felt that let us have a way to even consolidate our currency. Today, the only way that people want to do this is to pump in money. That is the laziest approach in consolidating our currency. That cannot be the approach. It is a very lazy approach, and I don't think that even a first year student at the finance class will even do that.
So your definition of certain is the government is pretending to be like they are not doing.
Yes, because you've seen that the dollar went to about 10, but just about 2 weeks ago, you've seen how it is also coming up. If indeed you did something right, why is it happening so? That is certain.
Right. You come across as highly opinionated. I don't know if you've regretted some of the things that you've said at platforms or written in time.
Have I? I don't think so.
You don't think so? So you stand by a lot of the things?
Because I believe in them. I mean, I say it because I believe in them.
Even if there's backlash on social media, people don't.
It's normal. Akufo-Addo has been insulted more than anybody in this country. Bawumia has been insulted more than anybody. But of course, they are still leaders. I think that the media will have to now support the governance structure and architecture to be able to educate people that there's nothing wrong with democracy. There's nothing wrong with having an opinion. You can disagree in a very nice way, but attacks on the integrity and persons of people, I mean, it should not be the way to go. I had a tough skin. I mean, I come across very unassuming and very calm, but I mean, when it comes to my opinions and I'm strong about it, nothing changes that.
Thanks for your comments. The post you made about the president's private jets and the back and forth with it. I mean, obviously the government came, they explained and all, and you probably came across as you were misinforming the public. Was that something you read?
Did you read my post?
Yeah, I did.
What did you read?
You mentioned $1. You mentioned renting it for an hour, and then you mentioned how much it will cost us.
As it were, educate our people on what I said.
Doing this.
Because there are some posts that, as a member of parliament, I can put out. It is only to solicit for an opinion, or if you like, answers from government.
Right.
Because it's the government that has the holistic information as to what is happening, and information that they have failed to let the people of Ghana be aware. Today, as we speak, we are not even aware the plane, or if you like, the aircraft that the president used from Ghana to Dubai. Right. We are only aware of the flight that he used from Dubai to Singapore. Are you aware of the flight that the president used from Ghana to Dubai? You are not aware.
Yeah.
So I have every responsibility to couch my statements in such a way that I can solicit for information from the government. And that is exactly what I did. And that is how come I went about my writing the way I went about it. So if you have it, read it for the people of Ghana to know that if I was categorical about anything that I said.
So we said this private jet, MBAEP, left Accra this morning around 7 a.m. estimated to cost $15,000 per hour to rent this flight. A simple calculation shows that the 7-hour journey already covered months to $105,000. If the flight proceeds to Japan, which is likely to take about 12 hours, that would be another 180,000 euros. You added that if this continues to Singapore, approximately 7 hours away, that would add another $105,000. Finally, the jet flies directly to Germany and then back to Accra, a total of 20 hours return trip. That would add another $300,000. Altogether, the costs to an incredible $690,000 without including waiting times and or stopovers.
So number one, where was the president's name mentioned? Number two, it is agreeable that you can make an inference that because the flight that I mentioned was going to Singapore, you mentioned that the president's name was one we were silently mentioned. Is that not the case? But was it the president alone who was traveling to Singapore?
But
he went with a delegation, right?
Yes.
It is possible that this flight that I'm talking about had initially been planned to be used in a certain way that you and I may not be aware. And that is the kind of answers I was looking for.
Right.
That this flight could have met the president or the delegation somewhere, or better still, this flight could have carried one or two of the delegation to meet the president somewhere. But because I came about it, they had to abort the plan. So I'm just saying that the information that I put out there was to solicit for information from the government, the one with the information. And that is why I was not categorical with anything that I said here.
Inference.
So you could see that I was smart about what I was writing. But because people do not want to read,
because of the timeliness of the post, and then as the time the president was.
Yeah, so I want people to say that by inference, I was talking about the president and his delegation. Don't say the president, because it's possible that the president will not use the private jet. The private jet will be used as we speak. They have not been able to tell us. And that should be your duty, you, the media. They have not been able to tell us what that private jet was doing on the shores of this country. Are you not interested? So, yeah, the Kofa cocaine cramp, yeah, the Fakobia, because Vincent was not able to give the accurate information. But we are supposed to make sure that we find information from the government, especially when we smell something fishy. And that is supposed to be our job. So whatever you heard there, propaganda, politics, you heard one deputy chief of staff who is a rapist trying to talk about the fact that Vincent now, because he is protecting his job. We know your credibility in this country, okay? But I'm just saying that should not be the approach. The approach is, I am a member of parliament. I have every responsibility to be able to seek for answers from the government. The government who holds that information. If parliament was not on recess, they would have written to parliament that the president of the Republic of Ghana is traveling and will be back at this time. One way or the other, we can have some commentaries about it. But parliament is not in session. If parliament is not in session, the only tools that I have available is you, the media, and my social media handles.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And so, if you are a government appointee, you should be patient, humble enough to also accept opinions or if you like questions from the Ghanaian people.
Right. What do you think is the biggest challenge facing Ghanaian youth right now?
Well, as a ranking for Youth and Sports Committee, I've had first-hand information as to how this government is stifling growth as far as young people are concerned. I say so because of budgetary allocations that were made to the Ministry of Youth and to the Ministry of Sports. I had calls to raise these points on the floor of Parliament as to why government is not even developing the youth as far as sports is concerned. Ghanaian youth loves football, they love sports. So why do you say that with all the resources that I'm giving to the Ministry of Sports, there is no amount of money that has been allocated for keepers? There's no capital expenditure. So all the, if you like, the infrastructure projects that the NPP did from 2017 to 2024, it is not being continued. Nothing of a sort has been given. Zero was given to the Ministry of Sport as far as keepers is concerned. If you check the Ministry of Youth, go and ask Osman Ayariga, CEO for National Youth Authority, go and ask NAPE, Erica J. Not up to 20% of their monies has been released to them. We are in their 9th month. How do you expect that a budget that has been given to Parliament, for Parliament to approve that they are supposed to give them, let's say, 100 million, and by the 9th month, you have not released out to even 15 million to them? How are you going to make sure that you are going to deal with unemployment situation in this country when we know that the YEA, the National Youth Authority, and the NAPE are supposed to be able to help young people in this country? It's just a joke. It's unfortunate that some of you media are also not questioning them as far as their fellows are concerned. The budget that they brought was clear that, one, the amount of money that they allocated was inadequate. Two, even the ones that they allocated, they have not even been able to release up to 20% to these agencies. So I don't know the kind of unemployment that they are dealing with.
Okay. The question I have would have to be for the other party then. So then how do we really solve issues that really bother the youth now? Because I mean, there are lots of aside unemployment, there are other things as well. Most Ghanaian youth.
We cannot leave it at the doorstep of the government. And I mean, these were some of the things that we were saying when we were in government. We mentioned that it is about providing the enabling environment so that people, if like young people, will be able to have access to soft loans, will be able to make sure that there are reduced taxes for them to be able to to go about their businesses. We are not finding that. The government is only telling us that 24-hour economy, 3 jobs are going to be, if like one job is going to be given to 3 people. Today, as we speak, 9th month. Tell me, even in the budget, that 24-hour economy thing that they said, please, have you seen it working? Has one job been given to 3 young people in this country? Are they even having plans to do that? And when I say this government is a failure, you think that I'm just saying it. It is reality over settings. They've mentioned it, that they are going to give 3 people, 1 job. Okay, today there are no plans to even realize that. You can give them 20 years, they cannot do it. I am not a doomsayer.
So you
but
don't
this,
believe in the 24-hour economy?
do you believe in it?
Yes, I mean, and if that runs, that is going to employ a lot of people.
That is when the government has been able to what? Enable the environment by way of its policies. The government cannot say that I have provided this job, I'm giving it to 3 people to do. Why do you believe in this? How?
I mean, it shifts work in.
I agree, but these things are already being done by institutions that have already shown the mettle to be able to do so. And that is why today, if you go to our hospitals, nurses are doing that shift. Because it is not the government that is doing so, it is the sector that is allowing it to propel. It does not lie in the mouth of the government to say that I'm going to implement a 24-hour economy. It lies in the policies and the approaches of the government by way of its governance to be able to bring about it as a byproduct. Not because the government wants to say that I'm going to give this job to 3 people to do. No. So if you have a chief director at the various ministries, you're going to appoint 3 chief directors.
You were a president of the National Service, NASPA, some time ago, I think, 2013. They are facing a lot of challenges when it comes to the secretariats right now, talking about ghost names. Director General has done this. How do you feel when you come across stories like that?
It's almost becoming like a yearly ritual. Even before I went to the National Service, I've heard about these ghost names. And even the last but one bust, or if you like, the last but one issue that came as far as these ghost names were concerned was in 2014 when I was the NASPA president.
Oh, okay.
It happened, and let me tell you something. You know, because I was the NASPA president, national service persons were paying dues. If you're a national service person, you pay dues, right?
Yeah, I remember. I think they still pay, but
You're supposed to pay dues.
really collect.
Yes, you're supposed to pay dues, and it was deducted at source.
Okay.
So, as a national service president, it was published in the newspapers, and it was everywhere that national service persons were 80,000. So, if we are supposed to pay 2 cedis, and that time they were doing 50, 30, 20, 10 cedis as deduction, then 5 cedis will go to the district, 3 cedis will go to the region, and 2 cedis will go to national. So, me as a national president, when I'm sitting there, I'm expecting that the amount of money that will come to my coffers by way of dues from national service persons is 2 cedis times 80,000, which is 160,000. So, if I go to the bank and I see that my money is 80,000 or 90,000, what does that mean? It means some 30,000 or 40,000 people have not paid dues.
Yeah.
It means they are not in existence. It's one of the first areas that at the time you could see that indeed there were ghost names on the payroll. Unfortunately, I'm hearing allegations of similar things. I'm told that the AG is supposed to send the matter to court. I don't have the fact until it is proven that indeed there has been some ghost name that is ongoing. I cannot be sure about it. But at least with the previous one, from what I followed with the national security and you, there were people who came to say that indeed I did it, Marifan Disikan, or we brought some of the money and those kind of things. I'm not seeing that, or have not really been able to see in terms of evidence that this time it has happened. I mean, let's see how it
But
happens.
that way we can make the national service more transparent, the scheme more transparent.
Let's have a very robust system. If you're able to have a very robust system, let people understand how national service work. Because you cannot sit outside and just bring about a system with like fair solutions to it. The people who are in there knows the loopholes. So people who understand the system should be able to be patriotic enough to share some information with the government so that the government can have a very robust system to be able to deal with the canker of ghost names.
Well, let's delve deep into your personal life a bit, if you allow us. I know that you, at a point, you wanted to be a father, a priest. I don't know if you still. How about that?
That was then.
What was the whole what do you say, the goal or the inspiration?
You know, the way that the minor seminaries were formed, and if you like, the way they operate, you go to a minor seminary at the time, not with a certificate. you go by way of an introduction letter from your parish priest that Abrante way no hojo. Ocean na obetimi di rollers of. That is from the Catholic church that you go or you attend. So at that age, 15, 14, and normally most of them, quite a number of them, mass service, members of the Children of Mary, CYO Society, and that kind of society. So I was a member of the mass service and also the Children of Mary. So because, well, at the time I had that interest. I had that interest. So when I was going to the seminary at the time, even my BEC certificate had not been issued. I went there by just the stroke of an introduction from my parish priest, like all the other people that I met at the seminary. So it was when I was in school, that was when my BSc certificate even came later on. It came even later on. So I was there for about 3.5 years.
Like a training?
Yeah, the training.
School, everything.
Yeah, so you do a bit of the normal courses that every senior high school will do, but you don't do up to the 4. I think sometimes you do 2 or 3, and the rest is also a bit.
What school was it?
St. Hubert Seminary in Kumasi. Well, at the time it wasn't like St. James. St. James, though, was a seminary, but I mean, you also had senior high school attached to it, so it was not the proper kind of seminary. The proper kind of seminary is a Misano at the time, St. Hubert Seminary also at the time, but now all of them are senior high school. So you find other people who also go to St. Hubert who are not going to be Catholic priests, but they go there to have their senior high school education. So it's also a bit of it for only the seminarians as well.
So did you complete?
Absolutely, I did.
And did you have the passion to what happened?
No, so I mean, as I said, at the point I felt that it's not something that I wanted to do for the rest of my life, even though deep within my inner self, I loved it because growing up, that's what I've seen. That's what
you're not willing to do
your
life.
I found Catholics, partisan Catholics.
Right.
My father was actually the president of all Catholics in Kumasi. Yeah.
Do you think you would have been a good priest?
I think so, because all my mates, those of us who left in my class, we were 29 in my class when we went. No, we were 31 when we went the first year. And I think after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we became 29. And I think about 21 of them are Catholic priests now. Just about 8 of us couldn't be Catholic priests. So all my mates are Catholic priests now. Yeah.
So when did student leadership and everything come in?
That's when I went to KNUST. I was in Unity Hall. On the second floor, there's a floor called Ahimfi.
Which year was this?
It's 2009. Yes, and we were supposed to elect a floor rep. I remember when they were calling people to come and vote on the floor. I was sleeping, and 2 of my roommates, Francis Macaulay and Frank, came to wake me up. Masa Koyon who's a floor rep.
What are the NPP's plans, preparations ahead of the presidential primaries in January?
Well, I think that the party has already given out the plan as to how we are going to vote on the 31st of January 2026. The immediate plan will be narrowed into when the time is also getting closer. But as we speak, members of the party who have shown that interest have already paid their forms. And so let's see how.
Why are you supporting?
Well, you mentioned that I was working with who?
The former second lady.
So a young man who has been groomed by that family. Who am I to say I won't support them, especially when they also need me most? I'm here because of them. So
how does
I have to pay them that royalty.
Great. How does the future look like for you? Do you want to be president someday?
No. I mean, it's not something I think about. Now the people of Old Tafo has given me their mandate to serve them. As young as I am, this is my second term. So I have to kill myself and better the lots of the people of Old Tafo. That is what I'm interested in. leave the future for the future.
Okay. So we leave the future to judge. My name is Gideon Nicholas Day, and I've had Honorable Vincent Ekow Assafuah on Pulse One-on-One, and he's talked about governance, accountability, political leadership, governance, and whatnot. We hope you enjoy the conversation. I'll see you at that time.